Yo, welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we sit down, pull up a chair, and we get started. This podcast is designed to provide you packed full of information to help you with your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and well-being, where we interview myself through case studies to give you lifetime experience. And then we also interview high-performing individuals or other career-focused people who are looking to make changes in their lifestyle, training, nutrition, and well-being. So let's pull up that chair and let's go. Yo, welcome everyone to Setting Elite Goals with the one and only Dan Henderson. Now, this is a good friend, mentor of mine who runs multiple businesses from the elite immersion experience across Australia. Not in Perth yet, though, pending on that one. Has his own gym facility from semi-private and personal training, and also is just a man that likes to train the arms. So he has a very holistic approach to business. So has helped me obviously build systems and structures for the team, and is obviously something that's dear to my heart, which is obviously upskilling and learning, but is it someone who thinks very differently. So a lot of people out there talk, myself, it's week to week, month to month, maybe 90 days. And I attended an event with Dan a year ago, and it was all about like 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. I was like, what? And for me, it was a bit overwhelming at the beginning, but Dan broke it down into some simple steps and made it just simple to understand. And really, for anyone that's listening, understand long-term goals might not work for you, short-term might. But today is about Dan really imparting his knowledge and how he sets intentions and goals for those to compound year on year to have success in their careers and business. So Dan, thanks for coming on. Thanks for looking after the team, and take it away.
Absolute pleasure, Carl. Thank you so much for having me, mate. And I'm really, really excited. I've heard so much about just about everybody here on this call. So it's nice to get to know you a little bit better. The way that I like to present is I like to ask a lot of questions. So please participate, drop, comment questions in the chat itself. So it's a really interactive presentation. So first question for me is, do you have goals? Just a simple yes and no. Do you have goals right now? They might be professional goals. They might be learning. They might be habit-based. They might be around a skill. They might be around money, wealth.
Elaine is to get fit and healthy.
Thanks, Elaine.
Kicking it off. Everybody else, get on those keyboards. Ooh, and a love heart too. Sparkles.
Ooh, very nice.
Dan Chua, become the king of calisthenics. Ooh.
Love that, Dan.
Who do you love
Who do you love in the calisthenics world, Dan? Frank Medrano is still one of my favorites, the OG.
Liv is to deadlift like a beast. Angel to lose weight.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone, if you don't have a goal, that's okay. Just put it in the chat. I just want to get a response from everybody. So,
Eddie, 90 kilos, sub 10% body fat.
Nice, Eddie.
Chris, Ben Affleck, Batman body. Even though he's got one piece Shanks's hair. Ooh. Tom Wilson, run a marathon.
Awesome. Sydney Marathon this week.
You won't be doing.
Jack Smith is doing that one.
Yep. Ivy, I've prepared a vision board to help me visualize and manifest in terms of health and fitness to lose 10 kilos this year. Ooh, nice.
That's a Ivy.
Jordan is to improve strength and longevity of football career. The captain, Jordan Roberts, is the captain of the Sutherland Sharks.
Very cool. Is that everybody, Carl?
That is everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Awesome. So most of the goals center around health, which is great. I'm going to just share some frameworks more than anything else today. These frameworks will apply to health goals. They'll apply to wealth goals, profession and career. and other areas that you want to enhance in life as well. So really, really quickly, Carl kind of gave me a quick intro, so I won't spend too much time on this, but I've been in the fitness industry myself now for about 16 years. I've owned a couple of gyms. I have the great fortune of mentoring amazing fitness business owners, and that's where I spend most of my time. And I love to do this. I love to present. So I bought the biggest fitness conference business in Australia and New Zealand as well, called Filex, just so I could have more opportunities to share with amazing people. So in terms of some of the nuts and bolts on what we're covering today, we're going to do a little review before you preview. So it's really, really hard to think about what we want to accomplish and achieve if we don't understand who we are and what we've done in the past. I'm then going to talk about the big picture. So Carl said one of the things that was different around the way that I think is I will often think 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years into the future. And that will dictate what I do from a daily perspective. So I want to ensure that my daily actions are aligned with my weekly goals, which are aligned with my monthly goals, which are aligned with my quarterly goals, which are with my annual goals, my 3-year, my 5-year, and my 10-year. So there's alignment and congruency between those. We're going to talk about shifting your identity. One of my real favorites, and you're going to hear a couple of quotes from him today in this space, particularly around goals and systems and achievement, is James Clear. Has anyone read Atomic Habits before by James Clear? Just put a little YN in the chat. I'd love to see if anyone's familiar with his work. He's actually presented in Sydney on Tuesday. And I believe he's the absolute master in terms of building habits towards accomplishing goals. So you're going to see a little bit from his side. Then we're going to talk about your next 90 days. What is the theme? What is important for you? So you can have like the best quarter ever. And we'll really be working on the quarter of October, November, December, Q4 for our calendar year, making sure that this is a really successful 90 days from a couple of different aspects. And then we'll talk about some of my goal parameters. So some of the things that work when it comes to setting goals and some of the things that you need to avoid so we can be more successful in the accomplishment and achievement of those. Then we're going to just set some goals right at the end. And I know, Carl, you've actually got a worksheet for the team to complete after the call itself. That's right, isn't it?
Yep.
Beautiful. So for me, goals are absolutely paramount. They're paramount if you want more from your health, if you want more from a wealth perspective, if you want more from a growth perspective, then you need to have goals. And I love this quote because without goals and plans to reach them, you're like a ship that has set sail with no destination. So if you kind of just feel like you're spinning your wheels sometimes in any of these different areas, if you feel like you're not actually seeing progress, there's a good chance that we don't have a really good goal, and supporting that, we don't actually have a really good plan to accomplish and achieve that goal. Well, that's going to change by the end of today. I can assure you that. So first, we're going to do a little bit of a review before we preview. And I just want you to think about the last 3 months in particular. I want you to think about the last 90 days. And I want you to put the answers to this in the chat as well, if you feel nice and comfortable to do so. So I want you to think about it in terms of, and I want you to probably think about it for today's context, let's use a professional lens. So from a professional perspective, from your career perspective, in the last 90 days, what went really well for you? Was it that you picked up some more clients? Was it that you learned a new skill? Was it that you successfully completed a project? Was it that you deepened your knowledge in a particular area? What went well for you in the last 90 days? I just want you to put that down. I want everyone to get something down on paper on that side. And Carl, again, I'll get you to read a couple of things out as they come through.
Most of the team have not heard of Atomic Habits from James Clear. Chris does have the book, and I've just had a look.
Okay. I recommend it, guys, if you want to understand yourselves better, but you want to also, particularly those that are coaches here. So I think I saw Dan, Eddie, Liv, Jordan, Tom. You want to Atomic Habits will teach you how to be a really good coach because you'll understand human behavior really well.
So what has gone well? We have Liv doubled the number of sessions with one of our other team members leaving.
Congratulations.
And yeah, just no more team members leaving, please.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good
Dan-
strategy. Just for people to leave so you pick up their sessions. Well done, Liv.
Good retention strategy. Chua, I was 1.5 months into VH and my knowledge has expanded. I was shit, but became a lot better.
Thank
Angel
you.
was able to successfully create numerous landing pages. Dylan, expand my knowledge within personal training by shadowing these last couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Jordan achieved some great results with clients.
Excellent.
Elaine, learn video editing in different software.
So good.
And Eddie, improved my ability to manage more clients while Liv and Julia was away. Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Tested and implemented social media campaigns that worked for clients. And Tom started at VH and learned how sessions work.
Beautiful. So everyone had some nice little goals and accomplishments. Sorry, Carl, cut you off.
That's all right.
All right, let's talk about what maybe didn't go to plan, because, you know, we may have these great intentions and these great goals, but life doesn't exactly work like that. It doesn't work in this nice, smooth, linear process. You are going to experience a series of ebbs and flows. And this is like your clients as well. You know, the clients have ups and downs. So what didn't go as well as maybe you would have liked? Maybe some of your clients didn't get the results that you would have hoped for. Maybe your session number didn't go up as much as you would have liked. Maybe you didn't get as many referrals or many Google reviews as you would have liked. Maybe your own training suffered as you were focused on the business. What didn't go as well as you would have liked? Because we want to make sure in our next quarter that we double down on the stuff that went really well. You know, a lot of people like to reinvent the wheel, and it's quite unnecessary. You know, success is really consistently doing it's consistently doing the tedious. It's that consistent application. And so we want to really adhere to the things that went well and do more of them. The things that didn't go well, how can we put in plans and processes so they go better in the next 90 days? Yeah.
That's great. The event we attended was called Double Down.
What's that? Double Down.
The event was called Double Down. That's great.
So we want to double down on the things that went well. And then we just want to be mindful. We want to be cognizant of the things that didn't go well. So as we're mapping out our next 90 days, we can ensure that we're aware. That awareness is not enough. In addition to that awareness, we have a plan.
So probably to use myself as an example is that we didn't hit our target of 150 ebbs and flows, though the retention, like we haven't bled as aggressively as we could have, like got up to 110, down to 82, but it hasn't gone continuously down. So then would you say the double down isn't on improving the retention, but really just constantly renewing and working with new people?
Yes, absolutely. That is definitely, and you hear that from me every Saturday, that I'm saying we've got to double down on that area.
What about everyone else? What didn't go well in your profession?
Maybe it didn't go as well as you would have liked. And I think, like, obviously, I'm asking you to be a little vulnerable here. I'm asking you to, and thanks for leading that, Carl. You know, there's no judgment on here. The reason that we're doing this is so we can have a better 90 days. So the more earnest you are, the more honest you are, I appreciate.
So we've got Jordan, didn't increase my sessions as much as I would have liked.
Thanks, dude.
Dylan, not being able to train the past few months and get involved in sessions due to injury.
Thanks, Dylan.
Tom, missed a lot of training sessions due to travel and sport.
Thanks, Tom.
We got Dan Chua, who also missed training sessions and increased sessions.
Yep. Thanks, Dan.
Eddie, client check-ins wasn't consistent with increase with clients for a while covering.
Thanks, Eddie.
Elaine, my carpal tunnel syndrome is back after 4 years, and it's affecting my daily life. Chris, 49 subscribers shy of last month's goal.
Thanks, Chris.
Happy, or Grant, not as many game plan sessions from the sale, Anytime Fitness sale.
Thanks, Happy. All right, good feedback. Good. We often don't do enough introspection, right? So I think we quite often move one day into the next without actually analyzing why certain things happen, why a certain action was delivered by yourself, why a pattern keeps repeating itself. And so I'm a really big believer that you've got to go back before you go forward. So as we think about the next 90 days, where do you feel like you need to improve? It might be a skill, it might be an attitude, it might be a structure, it might be a routine. Where do you need to improve so the next 90 days professionally is the most powerful and impactful of your career?
Dan, right off the mark, routine and sales.
Yeah, great, man. Great. So yeah, let's focus on developing a really good routine for you. So Carl's going to get across the perfect week formula for you to have a look at that, because that's a great routine system.
Strategy and implementation from Angel.
Nice. Thanks, Angel.
Yep. Tom Wilson, ask more questions. Always.
Yeah. Great.
Always ask questions.
Where do you need to improve, Carl, whilst the team's populating the chat?
Automation.
Yeah.
Utilizing the tools and systems that we have in place to their fullest, but also providing a simple understanding so anyone can do it.
Love that.
So they don't have to go through the stress that I go through.
It's good.
Happy follow-up calls, admin and closing sales, crushing life. Yep.
Thank you.
Eddie, improve and simplify the process on how I manage clients and their chickens.
That's good. That came off the things that didn't go well, Eddie. So that's good.
Dylan, get into a better routine and get more engaged in sessions.
Excellent.
Jordan, closing leads and asking more questions when they have objections.
Yeah, good. That's the key. When you get an objection, acknowledge, ask a question.
Ivy, unique strategies for different social platforms.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Last question on our review. What did you learn about yourself within the business and yourself? So really, what was the big thing that you learned? Was it that maybe you got a stronger mindset than you thought? Was it that you really particularly enjoy training a particular demographic? Was it that you enjoy undertaking game plan sessions? What did you learn? It can be a mindset shift. It can be a preference. What did you learn about yourself in the last 90 days? What did you learn, Carl?
Themes and focus timers.
Yeah, good.
So I just set a 45-minute timer. Say, hey, Siri, 45 minutes, and then she does it. And then I just make sure just like them. And just focus on whatever the task is, if it's emails, if it's socials, and just stick to that platform.
Yeah, it's good. It's real. And themes to your days.
Yep.
Good focus time and themes. That's good. Really good.
Grant, straight off the bat, often avoid stepping out of my comfort zone.
Oh, dude. So good. So good. Yeah, we are creatures of comfort.
Angel, Carl taught me how to look at situations and be grateful. 50 reasons written. Nice.
So good.
Neutralize the emotion. Yes. Tom, enjoy rehab at work. More capable alone.
It's great.
Chris, we are first class, all or nothing.
Mm.
Mission, nice. Lane, learn to start a healthy lifestyle, good sleep and proper nutrition.
Love it.
And passion for helping people exist as always and makes sessions enjoyable.
Awesome, guys. Still, if you haven't answered it, still go through this process. Obviously, we're doing it surface level right now. I'd love for you to continue on it, but it's very, very hard to plan for the future unless you've reflected on the past, because we want to learn the lessons. We want to take those epiphanies that we had, because that's going to shape what we do in the next 90 days. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to begin with the end in mind. So one of my favorite books of all time is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's his first habit is you must begin with the end in mind. So everything that we do from a daily perspective needs to have a purpose. It needs to move us one step closer to our perfect future. And so this is a really great activity. I didn't create the activity. The first time I saw it was from a guy called Taki Moore, and he showed me it. So at the top, you can see that top box up there on year 3. We call that our perfect future. The box underneath, we call it that's a good future. The box underneath that, the third box, that would be just the same. All right, so nothing changes. And then the bottom box is less. Now, where that white box is on the left-hand side of the screen, that's today. That's the 14th of September. Now, as we project and think about ourselves professionally in 3 years' time, I want you to really think about what your perfect future would look like. What does that entail? All right, so then we can start reverse engineering it. And so the things that we do today, tomorrow, next week, next month, get us closer to that perfect future. So some of the things that may be helpful in thinking about this perfect future is how many hours do you want to be working? How much money do you want to be making? What type of clients do you want to have? What kind of skills, certifications do you have? What's your work-life balance look like? How often are you training? So you don't have to stick to this strict criteria, right? But this will help shape it. Because again, we don't want to be a rudderless ship. This is actually this is on the map. This is the end destination. This is the peak on the summit in 3 years' time. And quite often we don't think this far ahead. And we underestimate what we're really capable of doing. So humans will traditionally overestimate what they believe they can accomplish in 12 months, but they vastly underestimate what they can accomplish in 3 years. So you need to get out of your own way as you think about this, because whether you think you can or you can't, you're both right. I get to work with about 150 different fitness business owners. What separates the least successful with the most successful is often between here. All right. It is their self-belief. That is, yes, there may be slight differences in intelligence or charisma or experience or skills, but more than anything else, it is self-belief. And so I want you to get out of your own way as you map this out. I want you to write down, I want you to give this some real shape. I want you to write down at least 5 different points around what your perfect future looks like from a professional perspective. So I'm going to give you about 60 seconds, right? And don't sell yourself short, all right? If you want to have a team of trainers, if you want to have, your own business, if you want to know, if you want to be like the #1 trainer in the whole country, put that down. If you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. Carl, what does a perfect future look like for you and Vitruvian?
Perfect future, 5 points. What are these 3 things in 3 years? Sorry. Top business trainer for business people and go-to guy for the answers. Elite 20 teams where each of them are generating 2K earnings per week for themselves. And Dan has just dropped off.
You got to become a different version of yourself. You got to become the version 2.0 version. Like Carl from 3 years ago is a very different version to who he is today. He's gone and got a whole series of other skills. He has done a lot of self-development. He has gone and hired mentors. He's a very different leader. He, has a very different set of, he has a really, great depth of knowledge in a lot of areas.
An exciting thing is Jordan and Eddie have been with me since that.
So they've seen that evolution. They've seen that growth.
So, yeah, as I was saying, that if nothing changed, Dan, is that like if we looked at the last 3 months where we went from 110 to 82, yes, there are things that have happened, but if nothing changes in 9 months' time, it's all gone. So just to go from the top, mine was to be the top like referral person for business, to build that elite team of 20 where they're earning 2K a week, earning potential. I'm training 4 times a week with the bonus arm session, 1 massage adjustment a week to stay ahead of the game, and 33 Reservoir Street. It's like my ideal, and it's just a really good apartment. Really, there's so much to it that I can do as opportunities. Ivy, career, professional success. I am the chief marketing officer, a well-established company leading a creative team of professionals. My career has allowed me to travel internationally for work, combining my passion and marketing experience of culture. I have achieved financial stability with an annual income that allows me to comfortably support my lifestyle and save for retirement.
So good. So clear. Yeah.
Dan, renowned calisthenics trainer in Sydney, busy to the point I have to complain, where do I squeeze in my own training? Create my own training, book, guide, lifestyle. Angel, dominate LinkedIn and showing Carl as thought leader in the fitness industry. Interesting. That's cool. Simple yet modern website for VH. 1 to 2 months advances on content. Increase up to 2,000 connections on LinkedIn. 30 to 50 joiners in our events. Nice. Well, we got 13 here, 12 here already, so we're almost halfway. Ivy's done her own personal one. Completed my master's degree in my field of interest, public speaking or business coaching certification course. Published a book on a subject I'm passionate about, and it's well received in my industry. Personal growth includes cultivating strong leadership skills and emotional intelligence. Trainers, where we at? Elaine, to become a multimedia jack of all trades, study graphic design, video editing, audio production, 3D modeling. Cool. Get a high performance computer for efficient multimedia work. Nice. Pursue leadership roles for freelance entrepreneurship. Master emerging design tools and trends. Mentor and inspire emerging graphic designers. Nice. Live perfect future. I am the person everyone wants to see to overcome injuries / get strong as fuck. She missed a word. That's a spelling error there, Liv. Yeah, live. Yeah, Carl a million, live 1. 2, constantly learning and upskilling. 3, deadlift like at least double body weight. And 5, graduate EP with a high distinction. Eddie Ram, 35 sessions per week. Manage and upskill trainers in Hyde Park. Be efficient. I would ask Eddie, why not Australia? Be efficient with my work, that I have a weekend off. Yeah, that's a game changer. Life in my own place, potentially with a future partner. Ladies. Keep consistently training 5 times a week with extra day for arms. All right, he's one-upping me there. Chris, 1 million subscribers. Chocobolo desk. Make Carl the highest fitness YouTube earner. Nice. Finish law degree. Hugh Jackman on Table Talk. So Dan Henderson isn't good enough. Ooh.
No.
Well, Jordan, a multi-skilled trainer, strength and conditioning, nutrition, working with athletes, the go-to trainer for athletes in Sydney, have a couple of trainers working with athletes and teams, earning five earning 100K a year. Yep, joined the elite 20, mate. Tom Wilson, complete a master's in nutrition, physiotherapy, create my own business, improve my knowledge in PT, get my own place. Nice. Right. That's 100,000 a year. My brain read that as a million. I was like, nice. Maybe he's missing a zero. Maybe. Majority of work being PT. Have the ability to work whilst traveling. I'm a PT mentor. Work in a happy and healthy environment. Well, his name is Happy, so he's already there. Dylan, to keep increasing my knowledge of personal training to benefit my career for the future. To have a chiropractor appointment 1 to 2 times per week to help overcome injury. It's in good hands with Amy. To finish my uni degree. To increase my training to 5 times a week after injury. To get back to where I was in the past. Okay. To move out, find a place of my hometown to benefit my career. And Grant, yeah, let's make it 1 million.
Love it, guys. All right. So just put a little wire in. Do you have greater clarity around where you want to be in your career now on the call from when we started? Just put a little wire in. Do you have? Yeah. Beautiful. Excellent. All right. So now we need to make sure that what we do in the next 90 days matches that intention. And what I encourage you, time is going to beat us, but what I encourage you to do is do the 4 futures exercise, but do it for if nothing changes right now, and have a look at what your future would look like in 3 years. And it can be a little bit of a hit between the eyes. It can be a real eye opener, because you will come to the realization that if nothing changes, nothing changes. And that is why what we do in the next 90 days is absolutely going to be paramount, because the best time to start working on your perfect future is today. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. You can see the 4 lines between those 4 futures gets bigger from year to year. They get further apart. And so the best time to work on our perfect future is today. And that's what we're doing today. All right. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, hopefully, with success. And next thing, this comes straight out of James Clear's book. And if you want to make change, a lot of us focus on the what. So we focus on the outcomes. And that's not wrong. We need to know what the what is. So we want to make $100,000 a year. We want to finish our university degree. We want to be the go-to when it comes to building YouTube channels. All right. But then the real change needs to happen, because, and we see it with our clients, right? What they want is they want to lose. The outcome they want is generally like 5 kilos weight loss or 10 kilos weight loss. And what inevitably ends up happening is they end up losing that weight and then putting it back on. They lose the weight, they put it back on. The reason is they haven't shifted their identity. They are still identifying as that overweight person. They are still identifying as the person that was teased at school for, being overweight. They are still identifying as that person that has, no self-control. Real change only happens when you shift your identity. And so you may want to be more successful in your profession, but it starts with shifting your identity. So you might need to go, well, I'm not just I always hear people go, oh, I'm just a personal trainer. No, you're not just a personal trainer. I'm an agent of change, or I'm identifying as the best strength and conditioning coach in all of Sydney, or I'm identifying as, the best rehab specialist in all of Sydney. My identity is as a successful YouTube, marketer. So you need to shift the identity for real behavior change to take place. Otherwise, it just sits on the surface. And so I need you to do the deep work to make sure that happens. Now, I'm going to just motor through. Again, I'm a little bit mindful of time. I'm going to come back to what to do when you're off track. But the next thing that I like to do is set a theme. And a theme is like a mantra, almost like an affirmation that is going to be the calling card that you have to stay on track for throughout the next 90 days. I would recommend that you put this as a screensaver on your phone, because we open our phones 80 times a day. Might be a screensaver on your computer, might be a post-it note on your computer. But what is going to be the 2 to 3 key words that center you and that really bring you back to the person you want to become in the next 90 days? All right. I've just put a couple there, like a couple of examples that I've used with clients. They need to stop playing small. Grant, you said about being in your comfort zone. So it might be get uncomfortable. I've even got embracing discomfort there, maybe getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. It might be limitless. What's going to be your theme that's going to keep you centered, that's going to keep you focused, that's going to keep you intentional over the next 90 days? If you want to have a crack, put it in the chat. I'd love to see what people have.
You stand alone, from Dan.
You stand alone.
Deep.
Deep. Yeah. All
Game
right.
changer, pull on the thread, spicy.
Dan's cliches, he hasn't dropped one yet in this presentation. All right, so well done, Dan, for being the first in there. What is my capacity to do more? Like that, Liv. My theme is next right thing. What is the next right thing I can be doing right now?
Why right? Why not left? Oh, okay. I totally got it.
Yeah,
I got it. I just clicked.
good,
Yeah, wow.
good.
Whoops.
Next right, discipline, divisive, dedicated, do more. Yeah, good. Focus, discipline, growth. 8 hours for survival, anything above for success. Very cool. All right, so we're going to have a theme. That's going to be our catch cry. That's going to be our North Star. That's going to make sure that we are on track. If you don't have one, that's okay. Think about one, get one, put it on your iPhone as your screensaver. All right, next thing we are doing,
set it as an alarm.
Yeah.
Same time every day.
That's what you do really well, don't you, Carl? You've got your alarm with your labels.
4 alarms. Yep.
Beautiful.
One thing to do, one thing to delegate, one thing to learn, one thing to improve for tomorrow.
Now we're going to set goals. We're not going to have some time to actually set the goals now, but we know what the goals are leading us towards. We know what our theme wants to be, but here's some parameters around when you set the goals. Number one, they need to excite you. There is no point setting a goal that doesn't have you ripping the doona off of a morning, leaping out of bed. All right. If it doesn't light you up, if it doesn't give you goosebumps, if it doesn't have you talking about it, then don't set it. Life is too short for average goals. And one of the other big things is less is more. We create goal competition when we have too many goals. So we're going to set 2 to 3 professional goals for the next 90 days. Right? That is it. Because once we start setting more, we end up creating overwhelm. They end up competing with one another. We end up having opportunity cost, and we end up doing nothing. So there's no point setting when we have the capacity to achieve only 2 to 3 major outcomes. They need to be important ones. Third, think about a goal that you want to accomplish and achieve. I'll get everyone to think about in the next 90 days a professional goal that they want to achieve. I'll just use an example, right? I want to end up with 10 extra sessions. I need you to be really clear about what are the sacrifices, and I need you to accept, because if you don't accept the sacrifices, you're not going to go and achieve the goal. So you need to think about the sacrifices that need to be had for that goal to be successful. So let's say it's 10 extra sessions. Well, you know what? You're going to have to walk on the floor and meet an extra 10 people every day. You're going to have to ask for a referral from your clients, every single client, every single month. You're going to have to call all your old clients and ask them to come back in. You're going to have to go up to the gym and say, hey, do you have the inactive list? I'm going to give them all a call and give them a complimentary game plan session. You're going to get the birthday list from the gym, call everyone that's had a birthday and say, would you like a complimentary session? You're going to call all the new joiners and say, hey, the best way to assimilate into the new gym is by having a non-sweat game plan session. All right. Unless you're willing to set the sacrifices and you know what they are, then you're not going to be successful. And the reason I've got a picture of Kobe Bryant there is Kobe Bryant is known for his mentality. His head game, his mindset was stronger than anybody else's. It's called the Mamba mentality. And he said from a really early age, he goes, I'm going to be the world's best basketball player. And he said, what that requires of me is to work harder than absolutely anybody else ever has. And there's a story about him and the Dream Team. So he was part of what's called the Redeem Team when the USA Olympic team put together a squad to go and get the gold medal. And the strength and conditioning coach at the time, he went into the gym and he went in early. And he could hear this ball bouncing. And like, he wasn't even, he got in hours early. And there was Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was there about 4 hours before practice was going to begin. And he was drenched in sweat. Now, he was already the best player in the world, yet he was getting to the practice facility hours before everybody else. He then took Kobe through a session, which went out for a couple of hours, and then decided he's like, oh, I'm going to go home. I'll come back later and we'll do, the video session with the other coaches and other players later on. He goes home, he comes back, and Kobe only then was finishing up his workout. He knew the sacrifices that he had to make to accomplish his goal. And so we need to be clear about those, because it's really easy to say, in my world, a lot of people will say, I want $1 million business. Hey, you're going to do what needs to be done, because it's not, there's sacrifices. It's not just going to happen. Intention isn't enough. And so you need to write down what they are. You need to accept those, and you need to commit to those sacrifices. Next thing, goal without a plan is just a wish. All right, so there's a thing called an implementation intention. Psychologists have coined this term. If you have a goal, you then need to say when you're doing the activity, where it takes place, and for how long to accomplish that goal. For example, if we talk about getting an extra 10 clients, net growth of 10 clients in the next 90 days, all right? You want more sessions. We'll then go, all right, well, when am I going to make an extra 10 dials to one of my lists? Where is that going to happen? And who is that list? Who are the people that I'll be dialing? If I'm clear about that and write that down, then I'm far more likely to accomplish and achieve my goals. Last one is you need to see progress, all right? And sometimes the progress doesn't come in the result. So you need to have, often the goal itself is what we call a lagging metric. For example, I want 10 more clients. Well, what are the leading metrics? What are the leading process activities I need to do maybe each and every day, each and every week to see progress? If you're not seeing progress, then you're going to be demotivated, disenfranchised, and you're going to give up. And it's going to be one of those goals that's scribbled on a journal, scribbled on a notepad, that isn't actualized. So one of my favorite ways to do so is, and it doesn't need to be this, and this works really well with process written goals, is a weekly rhythm register. You write down, for example, behaviors and actions that are going to get you closer to the goal itself. So let's use another example. Let's say you want to, Tom wants to run a marathon, all right? So his behavior or action might be that he needs to run 3 times a week. He might need to do some mobility 3 times a week. He might need to do some specific strength training 3 times a week. And he writes them down as 3 separate behavior and actions. All right. He then marks them off so you can see progress, that is being done. All right. And then you see whether it's achieved for the week itself, and you give yourself a score. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly like this. You can use a habit tracker. There's lots of digital versions as well. But the main thing is that you have a system. You have a system to enable you to see progress. And this is one of my favorite quotes when it comes to achievement and goals. And it's again by James Clear, is you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so what we need to do is we need to take that goal in the next 90 days. You're going to set 2 of them, and we need to reverse engineer it so we have a system for its accomplishment and achievement. So I talked about reverse engineering a client growth goal. I talked about reverse engineering some of the things that need to happen for a marathon-based goal. But when you look at your goals, what are going to be the systems that we need to put in place, the processes, the activities, so we can accomplish and achieve them? Now, I'm going to quickly just go through one last thing, and that is what happens when we are off track, because success is not a straight line. All right. I talked about it before. It goes up, it goes down. You're going to have some days where you just want to give it up because things aren't going your way. So first and foremost, just understand this happens to all of us. All right. We all have those days where maybe we had an intention to train and we didn't. Don't turn that one day into 2 days, into a week, into a month. You may have an intention to go and chat to some, people on the floor. It didn't happen. Don't let that derail you. Doesn't matter whether you're off track. We're all going to get off track at some point. It's how quickly can you bounce back? Right? That is, I get to work with some amazing people, and the ones that, again, are really like most successful, they have a shit day, they have a shit week, it happens. But how long are you going to let that affect you for? The ones that bounce back quicker do better. They got bounce back ability. Get back into your plan. Get back into those processes. If you've got it on a rhythm register, make sure that we're adhering to that and use that as a priority. Accountability works. When we're only accountable to ourselves, we will often take the easiest path. That's why Carl's accountable to me. External accountability works. Accept imperfection. If you're waiting to deliver everything absolutely perfect, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. And sometimes you might need to change your environment. For me, maybe training's not working the way that I want it to work. So I'll go and train in a different space with a different person and ask for help. You've got Carl. You've got an incredible team. If you are off track, if you feel like you've lost momentum, if you feel like those goals are starting to creep away from you, put your hand up. Ask for help, and I have no doubt that Carl will give you the support, the resources to get you back on track.
Marvelous. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. So I'd love to hear, just before we wrap up, I know it's the final minute, what is one key aha takeaway that is going to help you craft 2 to 3 amazing outcomes over the next 90 days, but more importantly, move towards your perfect future?
Beautiful, guys. That was awesome. Dan, pleasure.
Thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time. And thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, thanks so much for joining the episode of Table Talk today. We hope you found some helpful tips and inspiration in staying healthy and fit, even with a busy schedule. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Stay tuned for our next conversation. Until then, keep prioritizing yourself, your health, your fitness, and we'll see you on the next Table Talk.